Well, glad to see you had a few thoughts for today. It is an auspicious day. My illustrious governor of Texas here, my home state, has given up his charade of wanting to be president. I don't know if you might call it a charade, but he's not fit. He's not even fit to be governor. I am hoping, against hope, that this debacle that he had as a campaign for president affects his future runs for governor. People in Texas have found that he gets tongue-tied when he gets up in front of the public. He does. He has a terrible time, being extemporaneous in a debate situation. That's probably the reason he's never debated anybody here in Texas. He hadn't up until now. He's never debated anybody. But he is no longer running for president. I'm thrilled to death. Now, if we can get Rick Santorum out of there, Ron Paul out of there, and I guess slim it down to Newt and Mitt. Just my opinion of the folks that are running, that they are the two best qualified without a doubt. I have my problems with each of them, of course, because they would they would change Social Security. They would make changes in Medicare. I'm not sure that Romney would. I think that Romney is a closet liberal. That's the reason he's having so much trouble getting all the conservatives in the Republican Party to line up on his side, because, of course, up in his state when he was governor, he installed universal health care. Put it right in Romney Care. So it leads me to believe that if he actually ran for president and made it, which he's running, but if he became elected, that he'd be hard-pressed to do away with Obamacare. I don't believe he'd do it. So anyway, like I say, my man Perry is gone. I've got another thought that I want to put forward here. If I was running for president, me, I'd probably have us in a shooting war with China in about a month. Because I'd bring back tariffs in a big way. I want to show you something here. Let's see if I get this thing right side up. Yeah, that's Corningware. Made in the U.S. of A. right there. Corningware. I think it was made in the U.S. of A. until about 2005. It's now made in Malaysia or China or both places, because you cannot pay a skilled worksman in Corning, New York, $15-20 an hour and compete with these products when they're made in Malaysia or China. Folks over there work for 25-40 cents an hour, maybe $1.25, the big money, and they can sell their product here in the United States for a fraction of what we can make it here. So over a period of years, manufacturing base of the United States has gone in the tank because everybody's outsourcing everything overseas to the Pacific Rim. Well, we'll just say, for instance, I'm guessing when this was made in the United States, this item here was probably between $4 to $7, maybe 10. I'm also guessing that that this piece of merchandise that looks the same, feels the same, everything, and comes from Malaysia is probably produced over there for 60 cents. That might not be accurate, but yeah, my guess is that probably 60 cents or $1. They sell it for the price of Corning. When they outsourced their stuff, they never reduced the price. I mean, they outsourced it. Their overhead went down, and they still charging the same amount of money for it. So of course their bottom line went better. If I was president, I'd put a tariff on this puppy if it came from Malaysia or China or any place other than inside the United States of America. This thing cost $65 if it was made outside the United States. And I would do that to flatware like knives, forks, and spoons. I don't think there's maybe one or two companies in the United States that are still making silverware. Nobody's making silverware, but making flatware, as they call it. If I'd take a Malaysian spoon, and that mother would cost $26.50. It would. And the spoon from Oneida, New York, which used to be the flatware capital of the world, would be whatever it was, 60 cents, $1, $1.50, something like that. But I would tariff foreign products to the point where American products would once again be competitive, and we could pay American workers a living wage. To make a living wage in the United States, if you're not making someplace between $10 and $20 an hour, and probably a whole lot closer to 20, then you're in poverty. I mean, there are a lot of people making $7.50 an hour, and I mean, I don't know how they do it. But back in the old days, when people were making a living, they made what was called a living wage. It might not have been as much as this. They think things didn't cost as much as they do today. But I'll give you another example. Up there in Lackawanna, New York, there was Bethlehem Steel had at one time the largest single steel plant in the world. When the New York State Thruway was built, there was a real controversy as whether they would buy the steel from Bethlehem Steel or would they buy Japanese steel. Bought the Japanese steel. About 10 years later, Bethlehem went bottom up because the Japanese came in and took over the market for steel. Once again, we should have tariffed the living snot out of that stuff. I mean, we should have, they did it for Harley Davidson. Harley Davidson was about to go under, and they went to Congress, and they begged and pleaded, and Congress passed a tariff on the big Jap cruiser bikes, and they went from 8,000 up to 20,000 a unit. And the end result was that now Harley is the dominant cruiser bike maker in the world, for the big dressers. So it can be done. But of course the Chinese probably take a damn view of it. You got me in there as president, and I'm putting a tariff on all the stuff that they make for Wally World, and just uniformly every item they make over there, I would tariff it so that you could pay a person here in the United States a living wage and sell the product here in the United States. So I say bring back tariffs, because we are about to go under. One of the reasons we can't afford anything is because our tax base is shot because nobody's making a decent living. So bring back tariffs, boys and girls.